Hello everyone and welcome to the Trainee Diaries series. My name is Sinead Fox-Hamilton and today I am talking to students with KPMG. Folks, good morning and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Our followers want to know what life is like as an ACA trainee, so you're very good to come along and share some of your experiences. So let's get to know you guys a bit better. Let's do a virtual round the room, folks, and will you tell me just, I suppose, who you are and maybe a bit of background information. Tell me, how did you get into the profession? So Kyle, I have you on the screen there first in front of me.
Yeah, perfect. My name's Kyle and I'm a third level associate in KPMG in the corporate finance function. I studied economics at Queen's and found my way into KPMG through a placement program. So I had applied, was interested in accountancy as a career, applied through the placement program. I thought it was a great insight, great way to get a flavour of what might be going on, and well, it would tell me if I wanted to do this as a career. So through the placement program, I was placed in a niche department within Audit, which was a business technology function, which gave me fantastic experience, really good experience, hands-on experience in doing the day-to-day role within that particular function. And I also done a 4-week sort of placement within a placement within corporate finance, which ultimately showed me what direction I would like to go down the line.
Brilliant. Oh, I love that. That was good that you had those early insights there and that helped with shaping your direction. Super. Ciara, I've got you next on the screen. Would you introduce yourself and tell me a bit about how you got into the profession?
Yeah, no problem. So hi everyone. I'm Ciara. I did an accountancy degree in accountancy and did an internship in KPMG, which is ultimately how I got my job. I suppose bit of background before that. I knew I wanted to do accountancy back in school by doing like a work experience week. And I suppose linked in with my A levels of maths, economics, business studies. It sort of just seemed to be like a natural career progression kind of thing. And I suppose just completely forgot. I'm a fourth level associate in the audit department.
Fab, thank you for that. So again, yeah, some early insights in the career and that helps shape your journey. Super duper. Holly, last but not least.
Yeah, I'm Holly. I work in the tax department in Belfast. I'm a third year associate and I'm going to do my final admittance exams this year. So I had no idea I wanted to do accountancy when I was in uni. I did maths, further maths and physics at A level. Then I did an integrated master's in maths at Queen's. And while I was doing my degree, I realised I didn't really want to go into like lecturing or anything or do a PhD. So I decided to like put some feelers out and do a few internships in different industries. And I did an internship in KPMG Belfast and I did 3 weeks in tax and 2 weeks in audit. And it was during that internship that I realized like the culture and just the role really aligned with what I wanted to do. So that was when I decided to do accountancy.
Oh, super fab. Oh, I love the mix of stories there. Now, what I know our followers are really interested in understanding is what is working life like in each of your divisions. And I'm delighted we have got tax, audit and advisory here. So if I could ask you guys, could you give me a bit of insight into the nature of your job? And I suppose another query I often get asked is, what's it like when you very first start? You know, are you thrown in at the deep end? Is there supports? If I, sign up for chartered accountancy tomorrow, what's that first week going to look like? So Kyle, back to you if you don't mind. What's the job like and what was it like at the start?
Yeah, sure. Taking it back to the start then, we had quite an intensive training program at the start, which is great. I came from a non-accounting background, so my natural worry is, okay, how am I going to know what to do day to day? But KPMG looked after that quite well. We went down to Dublin and done a 6-week training course that covered all the fundamentals of accounting, which was fantastic and allowed me to sort of organically grow my my accounting experience. Then alongside that, we then began our lectures with Chartered Accountants Ireland, which came in on a Friday evening and a Saturday morning, which sounds rough, but it's actually fine. You get well used to it pretty quickly. But it was great to have that head start with KPMG because I found that when I went into the Chartered Accountancy lectures, we covered quite a lot of the content, which helped bring me up to speed and really refresh me, which was perfect. My day to day, in the corporate finance function, I really enjoy it. It's very fast paced. We do a lot of financial work and a little bit less raw accounting work than perhaps Ciara and Holly. We get to work with so many diverse businesses, and right now it's very interesting work. We do a lot of work for sustainability and in the energy sector, and also businesses from all walks and sectors. That work day to day could take the form of doing a valuation from a company, finding out how much that company is worth. We do a lot of mergers and acquisitions, so that's helping a company either sell or make an acquisition to buy another company, which is again really interesting work. And you get to figure out the passions in business, the people that run it and their passions, and how the business operates. You get to learn so much about it. It's like a journey from start to finish, which is excellent. So I really enjoy it.
Oh, super. Thank you so much for bringing that to life. It's great. Ciara, over to you.
Oh God, it actually feels so long ago now that I started. So I'm trying to remember what them first couple of weeks are like. Especially now being fourth year, I would take on more of the training aspect, or helping people settle in. So I suppose I started back in 2017. So again, when life was normal and we could go to our training in Dublin and do our training by day and go out by night. So coming from an accountancy background, our training weeks were slightly less than those from a non-accounting background. So we did 3 weeks of a course. So firstly, whenever we joined the firm, we did a week just up in Belfast where we got to know everybody in our year group. Some introductory things where we had some of the associates further up would have done different courses, to allow us to see different members of the team, get a feel for what we do on a day-to-day basis. And then before we go to Dublin, we actually have a couple of weeks where we are doing audits. So we're put into the deep end, brought into a team for a job, and the seniors really look after you. We're always there to coach, and it's sort of like a bit of a hierarchy where the second year will coach the first year because they are more stuck in the day-to-day aspects of what first year would be doing, and it sort of goes up the chain if they've got any problems. I suppose my day-to-day then now, so the audit department, so we go around different businesses at different times of the year depending on the financial year end, and we go into the businesses. They will provide us with their financial information that's going to go into their financial statements, and basically what we do is we go in and do a check of their information to make sure that what they're saying is materially accurate and reasonable. So we will perform a variety of tests, depending on your stage. You'll get the more complex areas, and you sort of see it from these figures that go into from, say, a sale, right through to how they actually go into the financial statements. And it's a really good experience to get an understanding of loads of different businesses, especially ones that you maybe never even heard of before or weren't aware of, and just get an understanding or a feel for how they actually work on the inside. So yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Agreeing, there's maybe a bit of a trend there. You're getting to work with different businesses, different sectors, and really varied and interesting. Holly, over to you. If you would give us a bit of an insight, that'd be super.
Yeah, no, really similarly, we went down to Dublin. I'm non-accounting grad, so I think must have been 6 weeks. I can't remember now how many weeks it was. But it was a really good way to ease you into even professional life. And when I started, I was really nervous from going from university to working in an office, and I was like, oh God, I don't know what the culture is going to be like, how I'm going to meet people, make friends. But it was great because you get thrown in with all the Dublin grads, the Cork, Galway, everyone that's joining that's non-accountancy and tax. So as Ciara was saying, you do your classes during the day and then you go out the night and get to know everybody. So it's great. And then you're back up in Belfast, and you're assigned a buddy and stuff. So there's always going to be someone beside you and someone to ask questions. So you've got your buddy who will be somewhere else in the office, and the person beside you, you're always going to be sit beside someone in a year above. So you can ask really stupid questions that you don't want to ask your manager. And as you go through the years, it's a really steep learning curve, but the complexity of the work that you do and the responsibility you're given increases like every year. But it feels really natural. It doesn't feel like you're being ever pushed. You're being pushed, but you're never pushed too far out of your depth or out of your comfort zone. But yeah, day-to-day life. So we do two sort of sectors. So it's like compliance work or advisory. And there's loads of different areas of tax. So I work in corporation tax and personal tax, but other people in the office would work in VAT or FS, something like that. So in corporation tax, I'm doing tax returns for companies and also preparing the tax notes for the accounts that we then would give to audit. And just like disclosing the company's tax affairs and, you know, advising them of their liability. And for individuals, it's the same. You would take their income and do their tax return for them and advise them how much they have to pay. And then advisory, it's way more varied. I would do research and development claims where we're getting the company some money. So there's like a cashback scheme and stuff from HMRC, or if they're thinking of acquiring a company, we would do due diligence reports. They're all words, you know, and you might not understand if you don't work in tax, but it's really good. I love doing a bit of advisory, and it really breaks up your day from the compliance work. But at the start, you're doing a lot more compliance just to get to grips with the legislation and stuff.
Well, what I'm gathering from all you, there's definitely variation. It's something I always talk about in the profession. I trained in KPMG too, so you know, it takes me back when you're talking about those training days. I remember those Dublin days well. Good times, good times. I suppose what else I would be interested in showcasing today is, folks, the balance of it all, because obviously you've touched on it. There is the academic journey and coming to Chartered Accountants Ireland for your study piece, and then you're working full time in KPMG. Would you tell me, how has that been? Kyle, if I go back to you, what's it like juggling it all, you know, and do you have time for life in amongst all that as well?
Yeah, you certainly do. I think what it requires is a bit of a shimmy of your own schedule. Friday nights are out, Saturday mornings are out, but everything around that is certainly possible. You don't. The misconception is that you sort of lose your life a bit. You definitely don't. There's plenty, and I know from my perspective anyway, that there's plenty that I was able to do and able to balance. You just get into a bit of a routine. You finish up work on a Friday, you head down to your lecture, and you're heading down with your friends. You can have a bit of a laugh, and what people will do is they'll maybe you know, go for the lecture and then head out for a pint afterwards. Just keeps the social side there. And then on Saturday, it's good to get in. You're into Belfast. You can go for a coffee. You can break up the day, back in for your lecture. So it's certainly possible. I think what you do need is a little bit of self-discipline is really going to get you there. Going to the lectures and making sure that you cut out an hour or 2 hours a week just to catch up on your notes, get yourself organised, do a bit of study. Certainly pays dividends in the end, but it's not as bad as what you think. It really isn't. Because you go from uni where you don't have to work, you're just studying, and now you're doing a bit of both. But certainly the firms and KPMG really make it easy for you to get out of work and get into the lecture, because they know how much it takes out of you as well. So no, definitely very possible.
Very possible, very manageable, absolutely. It takes a wee while to get used to it, and then you're flying with a bit of routine, that's it. Ciara, what about you? How have you found the balance of it all?
Yeah, so I suppose I would reiterate like Kyle's points on how you have to be a bit self-disciplined, like work your own schedule and work around the balance of work and social life and going to your classes and getting your study in. But it is definitely possible. I won't beat around the bush. It is challenging and it can be difficult at times, and it can be a very stressful time, especially coming up to that time whenever you are doing exams. But it is well worth it whenever you get to the other side and you have finished all your exams and you have all this free time that you don't know what to do with. But no, I would definitely recommend it to anybody, and especially in the likes of KPMG. Our firm do so much to help us, to guide us through the challenges, giving us extra support when we need it. And everyone in the firm has been there at one point, so we have so many people to rely on and chat to if we need to.
Yeah, that's important. That sort of that mentorship from those who've walked the path before. What about you, Holly? How have you found the balance?
Yeah, well, coming into it, when I was in uni, I worked a job as well, and then also had societies and stuff. So I had a bit of experience with juggling different responsibilities. And I suppose the biggest difference is that at least like the academic and the career side of things align. So you're working towards your chartered accountancy, and you're also wanting to do well in your role, and the two relate. And I do think it's important to say you don't have to be like you'll never be perfect, especially during busy times in work, but it's like you'll be able to cope no problem. And KPMG especially gives us loads of study leave, so we have loads of time before exams to sort up on anything that we might have missed or anything. And everyone in work they've done the same thing. They've went in to do their exams while working a 9 to 5 job, full-time job. So everyone understands and are understanding if you need to, take some time to really focus on your study, which is what you have to do at the end of the day.
That's it. And I suppose now with COVID, there's been a pause on the face-to-face classes and that, so everything's digital. And we've had some positive feedback of that in terms of, anybody who's had to commute in for the likes of classes or whatever, you're doing it from the comfort of your own home. Things are recorded. You're able to watch things back at your leisure. So change times we're all in, but I suppose the essence of the balance in it all is absolutely achievable to still have a life and fit in that social time as well, because that's important, the downtime and looking after yourself. I suppose rounding up, folks, we could chat all day. This is a trip down memory lane for me. Very lastly, what would you say to somebody considering the profession? Kyle, maybe over to you.
Yeah, definitely. With COVID coming in, I think now is a very important time for business professionals, without a doubt. A lot of businesses now need navigation through difficult times, and the chartered accountancy professional qualification really arms you with that knowledge. It gives you the information that you need to go in and help a business that may be struggling, help a business that needs to grow, help a business that needs managed. So everything that I study, I put in practice in real life, which is remarkable coming from university where you do a lot of theory and not a lot of application, where now you can see the real tangible benefits to learning something that you put in place. It's also a fantastic badge, effectively, for you. People recognize what it takes to be a chartered accountant, and you gain that respect. You get fantastic career opportunities. You can travel the world, which is remarkable, and I know a few people are certainly traveling the world right now with this qualification, and are in an accountancy-based role around the world. It's fantastic, and with how the institute has set things up now with COVID, it's much more flexible. We can watch lectures. We can really build it around our own time now, or study around our own time, which is fantastic, particularly in a time where everybody needs to be that little bit more flexible. So what I would say to somebody wanting to do this, I would say if you're interested, I think without a doubt go for it. It will pay you dividends. It's 3 hard years of graft, but anything worth having and worth doing certainly requires that bit of work.
Let's can that and rerun that spiel over and over. I like that, Kyle. You're brilliant. I really appreciate you sharing that. What about you, Ciara?
Yeah, so I don't think there's too much more that I can say that Kyle hasn't already. I would say it is a worthwhile career. It is hard work, and it is a bit daunting at the start, but you will come out the other end, and it will be worthwhile. And there's so many opportunities at the other side of it, for your future. So definitely.
You're looking at those exams in the rear view mirror, Ciara, and thinking they're all behind me now. I'm on the other side.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Do you know what I might do, just Ciara, well I remember, because I know you're involved in the student society. Would you touch on that briefly, the fact that there is obviously a student society element to it all as well?
Yeah, so just probably for anybody that's in university, you're probably all well aware that there's societies there that run social events that are sort of a bit of a buffer between the education team and the students. So we have that there within Chartered Accountants Ireland as well. And I have been involved in the Ulster Committee and the Ireland Committee, both during my time. And it's a really, really good opportunity to meet other students, especially if you're in smaller firms and you don't really have that same network as what the likes of PwC, Deloitte, KPMG, and so forth have. But it's just something nice to have as a social aspect, and also another team in your corner to fight any education issues.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I just think that community element's really important, and I certainly loved it when I came into the profession, getting involved in the student society. And you don't have to be involved in the committee. I mean, you can if you
Yeah.
love, getting involved in organising the events and being a driver. Brilliant. I loved organising balls and quizzes and such. But equally, I know plenty who are just happy to go along and enjoy them, which is great as well. So no, thank you for highlighting that. Holly, yourself then, what would you say to somebody considering the profession?
Yeah, no, I think one of the biggest things that can sort of make people stress out about it is the thought of 3 more years of exams. I went into it after 4 years at uni, 2 years at A level, like, just doing exams forever, but they fly in. I cannot believe I'm in my 3rd year and I'm going to be finished this summer. Like, it's crazy. So I wouldn't let that hold you back. You might think, oh God, short-term pain for long-term gain, but it's not even that painful. Like, you've got your friends there doing alongside you. And it's very, very achievable. I definitely recommend it. Like, even if you don't want to stay in practice, work in an accountancy firm, the qualification opens so many doors for you in so many different industries you wouldn't even think of. I have friends that are like working in investment banks and they're getting their chartered accountancy. Definitely highly recommend it. Looks so good on your CV. And I love the role I'm in, but even if you decide after working 3.5 years in a firm that it's not for you, it opens so many doors, and it's a really sustainable career, as Kyle was saying. It'll, no matter what, you'll always need an accountant, especially during COVID.
Absolutely. Chartered accountants are busier than ever, I think.
Definitely.
So really stable career. Folks, thank you so much for all of that. You've said all the things that I always rabbit on about and always worry, well, she has to say that, but I've lived it. I've got the t-shirt, and I know, amongst the community, everybody believes all those messages, the fact that it is stable career, there is a sense of community, there's great fun, you make friends for life, like no doubt about it. It's tough going, but it's absolutely achievable. There's great camaraderie amongst the profession. Everybody's out there to support each other. And there's great variety and great opportunity that it brings. So look, thank you so much for coming along and sharing all those insights. I've no doubt that everybody tuning in will get a lot from it. So folks, thank you, and I will see you again soon. Thanks now.
Thanks.
Thanks.